Hey everybody, keep trying to create a flow chart to demonstrate our funnel kind of B2B marketing process. I'm not a designer, so I've had to do this a few times now, but I think this is probably the best, most linear one that we've done yet. Before I go into this, just note the platforms here are just examples, obviously. If you don't have Salesforce, you have HubSpot, Zoho, etc. It fits in. You don't have to use LinkedIn to scrape databases. Don't have to use AdRoll necessarily. Other tools out there for remarketing, but basically, this is kind of going along with our long-term demand gen thing that we've been pushing using advertising, particularly both content types and conversion types to nurture customers and educate them in the long run. Essentially, to break this down, so what we do is scrape a database of direct targets, build some audiences out of it, email list retargeting, so uploading to AdRoll Facebook. If that doesn't yield a huge amount of accuracy, we might do a lookalike audience. But generally speaking, be pretty direct. Spend around 2 to 4 weeks exposing people to the brand. So just literally showing them descriptive ads, cost per mile, trying to get them aware of the company. I think that's enough time to basically, give them that cognitive exposure. Then, afterwards, we go to a period that could be faster, could be slower. Is obviously personalized for personas of customer education. Now, we have a few steps here, which is basically the minimum. In reality, you probably want to expand this, but something like this, you show them a sponsored post, a blog article that breaks down the problem, your value proposition, doesn't bring up the product, is just kind of value to your target audience. So it's SaaS product, maybe you're targeting decision makers, etc. That's kind of, it's pretty, that part I think is pretty straightforward. Based on whether they click or demonstrate interest, could be like an engagement, visiting a specific page. You bring them to the next step in the process. For the purposes of this, we're indicating essentially a lead magnet. So you download, you submit your email, you opt in, and now you're giving permission essentially for, they're giving permission to you to market to them, to email them. And obviously, if they don't interact over a period of time, you move them back in the process, vary the content, obviously, but you're warming them up just like you would in a sales process, getting kind of more aggressive as you go. The next step we have in that is that kind of works as a registration for a webinar. So some kind of live activity or some kind of other piece of content, but that's a little more straightforward and actually is tied into the product. Again, there's a path for people to come back. Based on that, we kind of go into a sales sequence. So we're talking about now we're pushing the product. We're trying to get you into a demo. You've been warmed up for potentially a few months even, and your time is there. You're aware of the product. So pretty much at that point, we have the email. So we're launching a personalized sales sequence. One of your reps. Obviously, it's automated, but it feels personal. It feels one-on-one. And then at the same time, you launch ad campaigns again, but these are particularly generated at booking demos. So now you're using, you're transitioning the advertising strategy to sales. They can still get pushed back in the process to the, farther up in the funnel, but ultimately you're bringing them to appointments. So that's kind of the general process. The idea is that you're using time to magnify people's attraction to your product and ease them in, get their foot in the door, keep going. Some will move faster than others, but you can't guarantee it, and you have to kind of use analytics to make your own conclusions.